Welcome to Dollightful! Look at all these pastel cuties behind me! Yes, it's time to unleash the Pastel-Rainbow demon inside me once again! But oh, this one's gonna be good, my friends. She might be my favorite doll ever, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's our base doll, Twyla from Monster High, Generation 1. Twyla is one of my all-time favorites because I love her lilac skin color and her petite stature. Let's begin with the outfit this time. As usual, my approach to the clothes is slapdash but confident. There's a reason I don't put more patterns up on my Etsy store. It takes forever to polish these things up to a standard where I feel comfortable selling it. Usually I just brute force my way through. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Here is my very rough drawing of the doll. As you can see, she's got a totally cutesy school uniform wearing magic girl vibe, you know, like the most anime thing you've ever seen. The final outfit doesn't quite come out like the drawing though, so don't get your hopes up. I've made enough doll clothes at this point to where I can freehand a new pattern and feel fairly confident it will fit, but like I mentioned earlier, there will be a fair bit of finagling. To keep the fabric thin and neat, I apply glue to many of the pieces before I even cut them out. Take the bow pattern, for example. Yes, I know it looks like a bra, but it's actually a bow. I trace and cut out these tiny pieces after the glue has dried, and voila! Each bow has clean-cut edges that won't unravel. I've been using this technique more often because it helps garments behave much better on a tiny doll scale. Imagine trying to hem something so small. Impossible, right? They fold over like this. See? I told you they were bows. We're going to make a white shirt with the uniform collar and cuffs, some bows, a pleated tennis skirt, and stockings. I also apply glue to the collar, cuffs, and even the bottom of the shirt itself so that I don't have to hem it. With all the pieces cut, let's start sewing. We'll begin with the shirt. Sew center front. Then the shoulder seams. Zip the cuffs onto the sleeves. Then sew the sleeves into the armholes. One at a time is easiest. Right sides together, sew the side seam, which includes closing the sleeves. Clip those curves. Turn it inside out. And that's how you make a tiny shirt, folks. Okay, it's not perfect, but we can fix this. The neckline is too high and the sleeves are far too long, so just snip. That's closer. I tack on the collar in the front and back with 1 or 2 stitches and leave one end loose so that the shirt can still slide over the doll. This loose collar will tuck underneath a bow. Hopefully that will be enough to keep it in place. Hand-painted lines around the collar really sell it. And that's the school uniform shirt. So cute! Let's tackle the skirt next. First, cut out a long rectangle, far longer than you think you'll need. Mine is 6 by 40 centimeters, but I cut it down later. Now I mark the fabric along the top every 7 millimeters. Why 7? This is as small as I could feasibly make the pleats, that's why. Now fold the fabric like so. Pin it in place, and fold the next chunk underneath. The marks should line up. This is known as a box pleat, and the only way I could keep things straight was by pinning the heck out of it. It does not look pretty at this stage, but the only thing we care about during this crucial step is keeping the pleats even and the same size. Take a break from pinning to sew a section down. Remove the pins and iron flat the pleats one side at a time. Making the skirt in small sections like this makes the task more manageable. Here's a tip I discovered. Mushing the pleats underneath the presser foot might separate them out a small amount, so pull one of the threads to snug them up tight again. Pleats are hard, people, let's be honest, but it's worth it because they're so cute. Alright, I think that's enough pleats to circle the doll's waist and then some. Mine ended up at 9.5 centimeters in length. This next part is tricky. Have you ever looked closely at a tennis skirt? The pleats are sewn closed at the top. I want this effect too, so I'm going to stitch each pleat closed at the top by hand using the ladder stitch. Something tells me this is not the correct way to sew a tennis skirt. I get the feeling I sewed the skirt together in the wrong order, but hey, most of you watch these for entertainment and not the actual tutorial part, right? Nonetheless, it came out looking great. I hope you agree. Now to dye the fabric with watered down acrylics. I'm going for a subtle fade, just a little something to level the skirt up a bit. Ah, cat hair. Gee, I wonder how cat hair always gets into all my projects. Ta-da! Doesn't that look awesome? Now that the acrylic is dry, I can finally seal the edges of the skirt with glue. I thought the paint might interfere with the glue if I had done this step earlier, see? One final press and trim to really even up the folds. Oh yeah, that's crisp. And finally, we can add a waistband to hide the stitches at the top. The skirt is pretty cute, but something bothers me. I used as few layers as possible to make this skirt, but it's still bulky looking. Doll-sized garments are so small that the very thickness of the cloth itself can be a problem. And I'm thinking it's a bit thick around the middle. What do we do about this? Well, my solution is a bit drastic, I'll admit. I'm going to carve away the doll's waist. I'm pretty sure Hextian did something like this before on his dolls, but I'm not trying to give Twyla a snatched waist. I'm just doing this to make the clothes look normal on her. Let's see how the skirt lines up now. Yeah, see, now it just looks like a girl wearing a normal size skirt. It will be our little secret that I had to carve out her ribs to get this to fit, okay? Shh. Here's where I diverged from the concept art. This big puffy tulle skirt filled with puffballs was going to sit underneath the tennis skirt, but I fear this design stretches out the tennis skirt too far, and I'm far too proud of the skirt to watch it get bent out of shape, so I'm nixing the petticoat. Perhaps we can use this idea on another doll. Leggings are next. I suggest using stretchy knit fabric. It's super easy with knit, but wouldn't you know it, I'm all out, so cotton it is. Not the ideal material for socks, but we'll make it work. I'll have to sew them closely to the legs to make them look skin tight, so they won't be removable. A shame. And now, for shoes! I've been saving these roller skates for ages, waiting for the perfect doll to use them on. And at last, today is the day! Looks like they belong to a Laguna Blue Monster High doll, judging by the fishy design. But that's got to change to match our character. I prepped the shoes by popping apart the pieces and clipping off the texture best I can. The shoes themselves are rubbery, so I failed to completely remove the scales. Hopefully the paint will cover it up. Now we simply repaint the shoes. I start with a white base before moving on to pastel colors. Each color took 2 coats to become opaque. Can you imagine actually trying to roller skate in high heels like this? Disastrous. Skates like this should only exist in the fantasy realm. Paint done! Seal the deal with matte varnish to protect the paint from chipping off. Once that's dry, I glue little snippets of yellow embroidery thread onto the shoes to act as laces. Stick a bow on the back because why not? And they're done! The scales are still pretty visible, which is too bad. I thought the thickness of the paint would mask it, but oh well. You know what else she needs? An adorable little backpack! All miniatures are cute, but something about tiny little backpacks in particular is extra charming. I tried to come up with a simple way to make something so complicated, and I think I came up with a good method. I cut 3 simple shapes out of matte board and glued them together to form the base of the backpack. Glue fabric to the exterior. Wrapping the edges around to the inside. Set that aside for now. Next, I sewed/glued together this long rectangle. It looks complicated because I set a zipper in there, but it's not functional. I just happened to have a lilac-colored broken zipper from an actual bag I repaired, so it seemed like a good opportunity to use it. Sew and turn 2 bunny ears and paint the insides white. Glue the bunny ears to the inside of the bag. Then glue in the bag's handle. This is a lilac cord I salvaged from an old plushie. I'm a very thrifty artist, it's true. The backpack straps I made the same way as the bunny ears, only I stuffed them slightly with fluff and sewed on a 1/8 inch ribbon. Bend a wire into this shape and sew it to the ribbon. Next, insert a second ribbon into the clasp like so. The straps can now be glued on next to the handle. Glue on the big ol' rectangular piece. Snug it on nice and tight. The straps glue to the bottom of the bag. And a cute pocket goes on the front. But no cute backpack is complete without accessories, I say. I printed out a couple tiny buttons, cut them out, and glued them to the bag as well. You know what makes miniature buttons look really good though? A coat of resin. Yeah, this should have been done before gluing them to the backpack, but here we are. I'll just be really careful. Blob a bubble of resin on, then cure it with a UV torch or the sunshine, whatever's available. And that's the backpack! Adorable, right? I was hoping I could fit stuff into the bag and make it semi-functional, but the mat board base is so stiff it doesn't allow for any flexibility. I guess it's only a prop. Still, I am super pleased with this. If it didn't take so much effort, I would give all of my dolls little backpacks. That's the outfit, folks! She's so cute already and she doesn't even have a face. A little odd to do the clothes before the face and hair, but if you want to peek behind the curtain for a moment, the truth of the matter was I was waiting for an order of hair to be delivered. And here it is! A beautiful pastel rainbow of nylon hair from dollyhair.com. The colors are labeled on screen now, and as usual, all the materials I use in this video can be found in the description box below. Let's get the head ready. Chop off the hair, warm up the head, and pop it off the body. Pull the remaining gunky hair chunks out of the skull. And to finish preparation, wipe the face down with acetone. There we go, nice and clean. To help guide me through this complicated reroot, I'll need to designate areas of color first. How about we divide the scalp into 4 quadrants, then add another color by the temples, and 2 more tiny patches in the back. Hopefully this works. She's also getting rainbow bangs, so I sketch out a line for that. Coat the head with glue to seal the paint, and we're finally ready to add hair. Here's the rerooting tool. You don't need anything fancy. This is a drill chuck with a needle stuck at the end. The needle eye is cut at an angle like this. Let's take this one color at a time. Pinch off a couple hairs. Fold it in half over your fingernail and slip it onto the tool. Stick it in the head, and that is one plug done. I plugged the bangs area more sparsely and with shorter plugs because I'll be cutting them short anyway. Why waste the hair? And finally, I go back and plug the absolute heck out of the part using all the corresponding colors. It always takes more than you think it does. And the bangs as well. There we go! Reroot done! Flip the head upside down, pour glue down that head hole, and squish it around to coat all the plugs on the inside of the skull. Leave that to dry overnight and come back the next day. I love the hair so much already, I want to style it, but we have to do the face up first. So tuck it out of the way for now. Wear a respirator mask and spray the doll's face twice with Mr.Super Clear sealant to prep the surface. Now seems like a good time to mention that this doll was partially inspired by the Pastel Girl app, a cute little paper doll game full of adorable possibilities. I've made a doll from this game before, actually. Anyway, I thought this face in particular was very cute, so let's see if I can recreate it on Twyla here. I begin with pastels applied to the cheeks, nose, and lips. Clean up any spillover with a kneaded eraser. Then I sketch in the lash line, iris, eye creases, and eyebrows with watercolor pencils. So far, so cute, so I continue by filling in the whites of her eyes and colors in the iris. Just like the game, I'm going for that dreamy anime girl aesthetic. I tried to apply the colored freckles with pencil, but they don't really work out. I end up using acrylic on them later. Once the color stops building, give the doll another spray of MSC to begin a fresh layer. From here on out, I simply trace over and build up pigment until I'm happy with the opacity. It might take 1 or 2 more layers of sealant to get you where you want to be. Although for one reason or another, my pencils weren't sticking. Mr.Super Clear has a mind of its own. Sometimes it works great, sometimes not. Apparently humidity has a lot to do with it. I don't know. I've done this for 9 years now and I still don't know the rules. It's just random. When this happens, I get out the paints. I find paints much harder to control than pencils, but they sure lay down the color nice and quick, don't they? It's a trade-off. A few final touches like adding white highlights around the lashes and the face is done. Add the final layer of sealant, then apply gloss varnish to the eyes. Ooh, shiny. Now we can unwrap the hair burrito and style her cute hair. Oh my gosh, these colors! Locate the part again and divide the hair. Pour boiling water over the head to flatten and set the hair in place. Every time I think for sure the face is going to get destroyed, but somehow it survives. Now to curl her hair. Get out your straws and bobby pins, also known as doll-sized curlers. To make waves, we're going to pinch the hair back and forth between the straws like so. I section the hair into 4 parts and take it 1 part at a time. Once you've reached the end, saturate the hair again with boiling water. Let this completely dry before removing the curlers. I would have done all the sections at once to speed this up, but I didn't have enough bobby pins. When you come back the next day and remove the straws, you get adorable wavy hair. It's so cute! Once all 4 sections are complete, I swoop the hair up into ponytails. Or are these pigtails? I always thought pigtails were like a shorter version of ponytails. I don't know, leave a comment. Time to cut the bangs, my nemesis. I crimp the bangs using a heated chopstick first to get a suitable curl back towards the face. Then we trim. You think after managing my own bangs for years, I'd be better at this. Start long and work your way shorter. Cut the bangs in a curved arch to frame the face. A touch more finessing with heated up metal objects, and the bangs look pretty good. Not bad this time. I've definitely done worse. Look at this hair! Is this not the most Pastel-Rainbow, super kawaii, most delightful doll you've ever seen? I need to calm down. I honestly can't believe I've never done a rainbow hair doll before. It's so totally my aesthetic. I looked around at all my dolls and I was like, really? I haven't done this yet? I feel like I have. Well, I should have. I can't believe it took me this long. The hair, face, clothes, accessories, everything is done for the most part. The last step to any project is the last minute touches. Little things here and there, you know. I painted more details on the clothes and added heart stickers to the bows. I also sanded off the gray and painted Twyla's hands purple to match, giving her a yellow manicure. And, kinda tweaked the face, like a lot, actually. So here's what happened. I showed the finished doll to my family like I always do, and they thought her eyes looked a little spooky. I always appreciate their critique, and agreed with their assessment at the time, so I gave her pupils and darkened the lashes. But now, I'm not sure I like it. Help! Which face do you like better? Number 1's flat colors and pastel palette have its own niche appeal, but number 2's pupils and darker purples do help pull the face together and provide a focal point for the whole doll. But at any rate, she's done! Meet Tokki, my channel's very own Pastel-Rainbow magic girl! Seeing as it's Year of the Rabbit, and she's got the backpack and everything, Tokki is a perfect name. It means rabbit in Korean. And it's a subtle nod to the OG magical girl Sailor Moon, of course, whose Japanese name Usagi also means rabbit. Big thank you to Dori Dori, a cute little shop near my home that allowed us to shoot there. The owner was super sweet and enthusiastic about our little photo shoot, so we had a great time. Thank you so much for joining me on this colorful episode! I had a blast! I hope you like rainbows, because there may be more of this sort of thing planned for future episodes. See you next time! Stay artsy! Annyeong!